rebuilding. A catastrophic failure, a new start. Physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40. We focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 161 of the Silverback Blueprint. How will you look back? I think that's a really powerful quote when we start looking at what we're trying to achieve in our life and what we're not achieving, and especially when we start to procrastinate or really start to have fear and self-doubt creep into our minds. And fear and self-doubt are always there. It's part of, I think, of our survival reptilian brain, where it always wants us to be careful and safe and not set foot outside the cave unless we have to. But unfortunately, that doesn't help us, not anymore. In fact, it limits us. It holds us back. And again, for a lot of guys listening to the show, if you're in your 40s and 50s, you're starting to feel some pressure. I know I feel it sometimes. That, ideally, hopefully we're halfway through. At 50, I hope I got 50 more good years. I don't want to think about only having 5 years left, but I don't want to have 50 years in the last 25. I'm stuck in a chair and I'm being fucking spoon-fed by some abusive fucking male nurse who doesn't shower, right? I really don't want that happening. So I really like to do the next 50 years well and be that, crotchety old guy that's 101 that still can bench a little bit and, that kind of thing, and still has the whiskers going and can get in and out of my own car. I got to tell you on a side note, I'm sure you've all seen it when you're in a parking lot and you see guys struggling just to get in and out of vehicles because they're old, or they're in and out of vehicles because they're broken. So basic of a thing. We need to take care of ourselves. And, and I think as we get older, those fears start to become more realities for us because we're seeing it around us. We have friends in our circle of influence in our age group that are happy, and we have a lot of friends that are miserable. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact of, seeing where we've come and what we've accomplished overall. C.S. Lewis has a great quote. It goes, "You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending." And I think that's pretty cool, and I think that's pretty powerful. And I think it's pretty cool that I know something C.S. Lewis said. So you listeners out there, I'm getting smarter. But it's really true. You want to be able to sit back and look back and say, hey, I did that, and I did this, and I tried that, and remember the time we did this. It's far more positive and enriching than to be sitting there deep down inside thinking about the regrets, about the things you didn't do. And that's the thing about regrets. It's very, very rare do we actually voice them. We keep them deep down inside. And when we keep that stuff deep down inside, it's dark and it's negative and it's cancerous and it eats away at us. And I think that's something that we really need to start to really think about as we start to get older, is that the time is ticking. The clock is moving forward, right? There's one Monday less every Monday when you get up. And I think that, to me, is the one thing that I want to make sure that doesn't happen. Doesn't happen to me, doesn't happen to you guys. Listen, I can go back and show you tons of failures of things I've done and that didn't work out. Personal, financial, business, training, relationships. But my goal is, when I look back, is there's not too many things I didn't want to do that I didn't try to do. And that's the one thing that keeps me, positive and keeps me moving forward, is that, I've done a lot of things and I'm going to do a lot more things. And I think that's the one thing I want you guys to think about, is that we need to plan for those things. We need to step up, right? Because at 50 and 40, we still have good energy. And if we're getting fitter and stronger, we're getting more energetic, we're having more power, inner strength. But we don't have a lot of weeks of working 20 hours a day left in us. Not like when we were in 20 and 30. So we need to work smarter, but we need to keep working towards something. Again, it comes down to self-reflection. sit down on one of your morning rituals and write down some of the things that you've always wanted to do. But spend some time there. Think about it. Give your mind some time to reflect upon it. Don't just sit there and go, yeah, we're going to do that someday. Because the some days go by so fast that next thing you know, it didn't happen. There's no someday in the week. Now, sometimes sitting down and thinking about those things is hard because you start to think about some regret. Sometimes you sit there and it becomes overwhelming because you start to realize there's a lot of things you still want to do. And sometimes we get scared because we start to think that we don't have the time to do those things we want to do. We don't have the body to do some of those things. We don't have the energy. Well, the good news, guys, is no matter what your age is, you can turn that stuff around. You can start getting healthier. You can start getting fitter. You can start eating better. You can start moving. In 3 months from now, you can be 30 pounds lighter and fitter and go from having trouble walking a kilometer to running 5K. I've seen it over and over in the gym. I've done it personally. It can be done. So the key is, though, guys, is that you've got to make some of these things a priority. You've got to start to plan some of these things out. What is it that you haven't done yet that you want to do? And then put the plan together. In fact, the moment you start doing that and you start unfolding these things and seeing what you really want to do, it may have changed. What you thought you wanted to do in your 20s, now that you're in your 40s and 50s, could be radically different. But find out what that is. And then put a plan together and do it. That's it. It's that simple. It sounds that simple. Is it going to be work? Yes. As we talked about in the episode before, 10 times more work than you thought it was going to be. But guys, being miserable and full of regret is 10 times harder as well. So you might as well 10x something that's going to bring you joy and a sense of accomplishment and peace than going through the 10x of shit and not being any happier, not moving forward, not being in anywhere different place you are now than you will be in a year from now. And at our age, guys, a year fucking whizzes by. It's already December 4th when we're recording this. I know I'm going to close my eyes and it's going to be Christmas. In fact, I had a dream last night. I panicked. I dreamt that it was Christmas morning and I forgot to buy my wife and kids their gifts. Part of it is because I haven't done it yet. It's December 4th. But that's how fast things go, guys. But what I really want you to look at, and what I want you to take away from this about, looking back, is the first thing you got to do is you got to stop losing this attitude about how Mondays suck. I see it all the time. Oh, Monday. Oh, thank God it's Wednesday. It's hump day. Thank God it's Friday. Well, what the fuck are you guys doing on Friday that's so fucking special anyway? Most of you guys aren't doing anything real. But turn that around. Create some purpose. Come up with things that you really want to do that matter now. Put a plan together, and you know what's going to happen? You're going to want to get up on Monday because you got shit to do. You're moving towards something. And as you build momentum and start moving towards those things that you want to do, you get more excited. You get more motivated. You get more things done. And then when you're at Wednesday, it's more like, oh no, it's Wednesday already. Not thank God it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday already, and I still have so much to do this week because I'm excited, I'm engaged, I'm focused, I have purpose. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do with our lives, is we need to create that purpose. We need to find out what it is the fuck that we want to do, and then we need to put a plan together and go after it as hard as we can. Because two things are going to happen. You're going to get there and you're going to feel great about it and you're going to be good and you're going to want to set the next thing. Or you're not going to get there, but you're going to be much further than you were and other things are going to present themselves. Other opportunities are going to manifest. But we need to go after things. We need to find out what it is that I want to do. Is it fucking ziplining in a treetop somewhere? Then fucking do it. And if it means you have to lose 30 pounds, then do it. Every time we talk to guys and girls about losing weight, I always ask them, you have to have goals bigger than just losing the 20, 30 pounds because that's not enough. That'll get you started in the first week, but that's not going to hold you accountable week 3 when it gets challenging. But if you've already bought the tickets to go ziplining somewhere and you can't weigh over 275 pounds, you have a bigger why now. And you have an end date. You know, we just finished running a powerlifting meet, and I had 5 guys that I convinced to go in there. And I convinced them to compete in it because I knew they loved powerlifting. They were members of our gym. 3 of them were young, 2 of them were older. I knew that they enjoyed it, and I knew that they wanted to compete, but I knew they were afraid. They were afraid of how they would do. They were concerned they weren't strong enough. And I kept on them, and I said, guys, you guys are ready. Get your first meet in. Because as soon as you compete for the first time, the first thing you're going to do when you walk off that platform is you're going to tell me you wish you would have done this 5 years sooner, 10 years sooner, because you got so much out of it. You committed to something. It created a deadline. It gave you focus and training. There was excitement. There was thrills. There was chills, nerves. You got up there. You did it. The fucking world cheered for you. You have a sense of accomplishment. That's what I'm talking about, guys. That is the exact opposite of regret. And even if they got up on the platform and they're doing as well as they want, it doesn't matter. They won because they fucking put a plan together. They executed. They committed. And then they did it. It sounds hokey. Well, you're a winner if you compete. Yes, you're a winner if you compete. You really are. Because you get so much from it, win or lose. Fail or succeed. There's so much to be derived from it, because the opposite is either you're trained with no real purpose, or you train, which is good, or the opposite, or even further, you don't train, or your training is spotty, or you're not focused, or you don't work out at all. I'd much rather be further down the line where, you know, I tested myself, I challenged myself, I put my money where my fucking mouth is. It's far more rewarding than doing nothing. Guys, figure out what it is you want to do, what you want to achieve, what you want to experience. Write it down, commit to it, and come up with a plan. Pick one thing and go after it for 2019 and own that motherfucker and 10x it and drive into it and enjoy that experience of going after something. Make it worthwhile. Make it a challenge. Make it something that you have to work for, because on the other end of it, you're going to appreciate it that much more. It's going to mean that much more. It's going to build courage, self-esteem, and confidence, and it's going to empower you to go after the next thing. Guys, that's all I have to say on that for now. Head on over to iTunes. Please leave us a 5-star rating, positive review. Head on to hostilegear.com. Use the, I forgot to do that last episode. Use the code Silverback to save 20% on some cool anti-regret hoodies. That's a new line. The anti-regret hoodie line. I'm going to fucking totally do it. And as always, guys, work hard, motherfuckers, and I'll talk to you guys later. Hey, guys, Kurt Haas here from the Silverback Blueprint. Listen, if you guys are looking to get a jump start on some change and really get things going, but you're feeling stuck and you just need that little push, I want you guys to head over to silverbackblueprint.com. I've got a cool 3-video series that we just put up there, and it's geared to help you within the next 7 days lose 10 pounds, sleep better, and think clearer. Just the right thing to give you that right catalyst to get started. So head on over to silverbackblueprint.com. Sign up for there. You're going to get 3 cool videos covering 3 topics that if you follow are going to make a big difference. Work hard, motherfuckers, and I'll talk to you guys later.